Hi guys, I'm back again today with the last part of Abu Bakr story. And yeah, before we start, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell button, and let's continue. Oh,
And Ruman,
yes, coffee is coming.
Ruman binti Amir ibn Uwaymir was another lady from the Quraysh,
Oh yeah, we're
and
talking about the
Ruman
wives.
was the mother also of a boy and a girl. So from the first wife, Abu Bakr has a boy and a girl. From the second wife, Abu Bakr has a boy and a girl. And this boy
Oh,
and girl are Aisha and Abdul Rahman. Okay? Aisha and Abdul Rahman. And Ruman passed away in the 6th year of the Hijrah. And therefore, the Prophet prayed janazah over her as well. So Ruman passed away in Medina. In Medina in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this is of course when. So this is the Prophet's mother-in-law. She's already married to Aisha, and in that time Ruman passes away. And Ruman is also mentioned in the incident of the slander. Remember that Aisha went and asked Ruman's, whatnot, and all of this is mentioned in the books of the Sirah, and we talked about it in detail. And of course, Abdul Rahman is Aisha's full brother, and he was the one in the incident of in the incident of farewell Hajj. He was the one who accompanied Aisha to Tan'im, Masjid Aisha, and took her back to Mecca to do another Umrah. So this is Abdul Rahman. And other things we mentioned about Abdul Rahman, inshallah we'll get to him when we get to him. So this is Abdullah and Asma. This is Aisha and Abdul Rahman. Now the third wife of Abu Bakr. Who can remind me of the third wife? We mentioned her twice at least in the seerah. Our note taker is not here today, but even if he were here, very good, excellent. But what's her name? At least you narrowed it down. At least you narrowed it down. The wife of Ja'far.
I would never
The
because
wife
I
of
don't know.
Ja'far. Huh? Yes, Ja'far ibn Abi Talib. And her name is Asma bint Umays. Asma bint Umays is one of those most amazing ladies in the history of our religion. She was married to Ja'far ibn Abi Talib. Then Ja'far dies. When does Ja'far die? The Battle of Mu'tah. So she becomes a widow, and so Abu Bakr proposes for her. And so she marries Abu Bakr. So she has children from Ja'far. Okay? And these are, of course, the basically the Banu Hashim, the cousins of the Prophet once removed. So then she marries Abu Bakr. And from Abu Bakr, she has a son. And this son was born in Hajjatul Wada'. And his incident is the narration of much fiqh, because Asma gave birth to this boy while she is in ihram on her way to Mecca. So from this we get the fiqh of pregnant ladies in ihram, from this incident. Okay? And that's why she's mentioned in Bukhari and Muslim and others that Asma bint Umays gave birth to Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr. Okay? To Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr in Hajjatul Wada'. Okay? And that was the only child born to Asma. And by the way, so then Abu Bakr dies, obviously. Asma is still a relatively young lady. Who then does she marry? Ali ibn Abi Talib. So she was the only lady to be married to two Khalifas. Two Khalifas. And from both of them she had children. And from Ja'far she had children. So she has children from Ja'far, she has children from Abu Bakr, she has children from Ali. And the interesting thing, when
There's
Ali
more.
marries her, Muhammad is 4 or 5 years old. So Muhammad grows up in the household of Ali radiallahu anhu as a basically stepson, but as a so Ali and Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr had a very strong bond together. Now you understand why I'm saying this. Guys,
I don't know.
you don't understand.
No, I don't
Okay,
understand.
so there are tensions that some groups have between Ali and Abu Bakr. They say there were tensions. Do we believe there were tensions? No. There are 1,000,001 evidences, but of the simplest evidences, Ali marries the widow of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, and the child of Abu Bakr is raised like his own son. How could he have anything against Abu Bakr when he's marrying her and Muhammad, Abu Bakr's son, is being raised in his household like a son? Then when Muhammad becomes an adult, a fully male, Ali appoints him the governor of Egypt.
Okay.
How could he have anything against Abu Bakr? Think about it, right? I mean,
Makes
it's so,
sense.
and by the way, this is one of millions of things that, if you look at history, it is wallahi impossible to construct that Ali radiallahu anhu had problems with Abu Bakr and Umar. This is complete, I mean, Umar ibn al-Khattab marries Ali's daughter. Umar ibn al-Khattab marries Ali's daughter. Ali becomes the father-in-law. Umar proposes to the daughter of Ali, Kulthum bint Ali, and Ali gives his daughter in marriage. Now you tell me, how could there be any animosity? Do you give your daughter to somebody whom you think is an enemy of Allah and His Messenger? So this is, as I said, later understandings. Early Islam, this is simply, it's impossible to hold this this view. So anyway, back to my story. Oh, by the way, this person, Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr, there is some controversy surrounding him, and that's one of the reasons why I don't want to go into all of these details, because these stories sometimes harm more than benefit. It is said, I'll just mention this tidbit because inshallah it is not true. It is said, some allege that he participated with the mobs against Uthman radiallahu anhu. But other books such as As-Suyuti, the historian, As-Suyuti mentions that, and others before him also mentioned that, when Uthman saw Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr in his house, he said to Muhammad, if your father were here right now, he would be very angry with you, or he would be very, disappointed in what you're doing. So Uthman said this according to one report, and so when he said this, Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr felt so bad, he left. And then the rest of the people did what they did. So there are, again, this is one of the reasons, by the way, that we really don't like talking too much. I just want to give you this tidbit to give you an example, and this is one of the minor issues. There are much more difficult issues with much more respected Sahaba, because in the end of the day, and I say this as explicitly as possible, the Sahaba are humans. And their ijtihad is not like the ijtihad of the Prophet. Yes, the Prophet is also human, but his ijtihad is sanctioned by Allah. We have to defend the Prophet 100%, everything he said and did. Religiously, we have to. We cannot find one fault with him. If anybody were to find fault with Rasulullah, that person is not a Muslim. Very explicit here. Anybody criticizes Rasulullah, disagrees with something, that person is not a Muslim. But the Sahaba is a different story. We are not allowed to criticize their sincerity, their love for Islam, but we do not have to agree with each and every interpretation or statement or incident or especially political decision. Clear? And that, of course, is a very fine line, because when you start questioning decisions, it's very easy to jump over and question their intentions, which is what the other group does. Whereas for us, we say the Sahaba of the Prophet ﷺ, they had the right intentions, but maybe they made some mistakes. Maybe their temper got the better of them. Maybe some issue happened that wasn't the wisest, but we don't question their overall commitment to Allah and His Messenger, their overall sincerity to Allah and His Messenger. And of course, Muhammad, by the way, Ibn Abi Bakr, is he a Sahabi? Well, depends. There is a category of Sahaba that are basically baby Sahaba. Because Muhammad Ibn Abi Bakr himself never saw the Prophet ﷺ. Because he was 1 year old, 1.5 years old, when the Prophet ﷺ passes away. So he is not quite a Sahabi, yet he is a Sahabi. There's a mukhadram, there's a category, there's a special category that is given to them. And this category is basically the children, and the children meaning, like not 7, 8 years old. If you're 7, 8 years old and you saw the Prophet, you're a Sahabi. If you remember seeing the Prophet, you're a Sahabi. Okay. Otherwise, Hassan and Hussein, are Sahaba, but they were still not baligh. But Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr, he has no recollection of the Prophet ﷺ. So he is a category, we call them mukhadram, that you're not quite the full Sahabi, you're not quite the Tabi'i. So most people say he's the highest level of the Tabi'un, and this is the correct position. That the mukhadramun are the highest level of the Tabi'un. That the Prophet ﷺ saw them, but they did not recall seeing the Prophet ﷺ. Clear? I go into a tangent here, not really relevant, but anyway, so
I mean, it's relevant for me
where we
because
are
I
now?
don't know any of these.
Asma bint Umays we've done. Now we get to 4, that Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, after the death of Ruman, so he married Asma, and he also married eventually another lady. So Abu Bakr as-Siddiq never had 4 ladies at once. He had one, and then one, and then one, and then one, one and then 2. So basically towards the end of his life he had 2 wives. And the 4th and the final of his wife, and the only of his non-Qurashi wives, the other 3 are all Qurashiyah, other 3 are all from Mecca. The only wife of his from Medina was Habiba bint Kharija from Al-Ansariyah. She was Al-Ansariyah, the only one. Habiba was from the Ansar, and he married her in Medina. And this was the wife that he was with when the Prophet passed away. Remember, in the morning the Prophet appeared to be better on the Fajr of the Monday, and Abu Bakr, everybody thought he's much better now. So he had been camping in the masjid for a week, as we said. He had been camping in the masjid. And so he asked permission for the Prophet that, Ya Rasulullah, can I now go visit Bint Habiba, can I go and visit, this is the Bint Kharija, excuse me, Habiba Bint Kharija, can I go visit Bint Kharija? And so he gave permission to go. And so the news of the Prophet's death came when he was in the house of Habiba Bint Kharija, and her house was also in the district of Medina called Awali. And I always like mentioning this because we lived in Awali at the time, when we lived in Medina. So Abu Bakr's house of Habiba was in Al-Awali. And Abu Bakr on his deathbed said to Aisha, radiallahu anha, he said to Aisha, "O Aisha, I command you, my wasiyah to you is to take care of your 2 younger brothers and your 2 younger sisters." So Aisha said, "I only have 1 sister. Who's the other sister?" And Abu Bakr said, "Habiba is pregnant." Aisha did not know that. Habiba is pregnant, and I have a premonition that she will give birth to us girl. And that's exactly what happened. That after the death of Abu Bakr, Habiba bint Kharija gave birth to a girl. So this girl was born when Abu Bakr had died. And this girl was called Kulthum. And so this Kulthum is the 6th and the final child of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. So once again, let's go over this together. From Qutayla he had, who did he have from the first wife? Abdullah and Asma. Then from Ruman he had Aisha and Abdurrahman. Then from Asma bint Umays he had Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr. And then from Habiba bint Kharija he had Kulthum. These are a total of 6. And subhanAllah, time flies so fast, mashallah. So we have to finish here, but one interesting point that we conclude. Of the interesting points is that Abu Bakr's family is the only family that we know of that embraced Islam from Mecca in its entirety without a single non-Muslim. Abu Bakr's mother, Abu Bakr's father, Abu Bakr's wife at the time when Islam came, and of course his future wives, and all of Abu Bakr's children. There's no other Sahabi who can claim this. At least one person, either the mother, the father, something. Go and look it up. Umar ibn Khattab, Uthman, all have 1 or 2. So, Abu Bakr's family is a family of Iman. It's not just Abu Bakr. The whole family is a family of Iman. Everybody embraced Islam in the immediate family, without any exception. And this is only for the case of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Also of the peculiarities of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq is that in his family is the only person who is Sahabi for 4 generations. There is no Sahabi who is Sahabi, the son of the Sahabi, the son of the Sahabi, the son of the Sahabi, other than somebody from the family of Abu Bakr. And this is who? Who is this? I haven't mentioned him by now. I have not mentioned him by now. Who? Excellent, mashallah. Our sister gets it right. Give the nasab, give the lineage. No, so how is he the Sahabi, son of Sahabi, son of Sahabi? Abdullah ibn Zubayr, you're right. Abdullah ibn Zubayr, the son of, well, we're going the wrong lineage now from here. The son of Asma, from the mother's side, right? The son of Abu Bakr, sorry, the daughter of Abu Bakr, the son of Abu Quhafa. So all 4 are Sahaba, right? So this is a quiz question. Who is that Sahabi that has 4 Sahaba in the lineage? One after the other, all of them are Sahaba. And that is Abdullah ibn Zubayr. Okay? Because Abdullah ibn Zubayr, his grandfather is Abu Bakr from his mother's side. So his mother is Asma. So he is a Sahabi. She is. When was Abdullah ibn Zubayr born? Has another story. As soon as Asma arrived in Medina, the first baby born, even before Quba was built, or the masjid of the Prophet is built, and the Muslims rejoiced at his birth because they took it as a good omen. Remember, we're allowed to believe, we're supposed to believe in good omens. And because the Quraysh had predicted that if you leave us, Allah will not give you any children. And so the day they arrive in Medina, Allah blesses them with a child. And that child is the grandson of Abu Bakr through his daughter Asma. So Abdullah ibn Zubayr, the son of Asma, Asma is the daughter of Abu Bakr, Abu Bakr is the son of Abu Quhafa. These are the 4 generations. As for Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr, Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr, of course, he is only 3 generations, so he does not count. Plus, Muhammad is a mukhadram, so it doesn't count. So Abdullah ibn Zubayr is the only one with that. SubhanAllah, so much more to say. Anyway, we'll start next Wednesday, inshallah, with the story of the Islam of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. And of course, all of you know Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was the first convert to Islam outside of the immediate family members of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Khadija converted, perhaps Ali as a young boy converted, Zayd converted, Abu Bakr converted. There's a big controversy in the tartib of converts, but in the end of the day, within the span of a few days, all of these people converted. And the first to convert as an adult male of his own free will and volition, because Ali is a child, and Zayd is the adopted son, as you know at the time, and Khadija, as you know, the wife of the story. So the first person to whom Islam is presented, and he has really the full luxury to say yes and no, and he immediately says yes, is Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. And that will be the story we begin with, inshallah ta'ala, next Wednesday. And final point, inshallah, with the change of the time of Maghrib, let's inshallah try to pray Maghrib in the masjid. And as the time proceeds, we might have to delay a few weeks and just start with the beginning of Salat al-Maghrib. And a fiqh benefit, and I mentioned this before, that while technically it is allowed to have another jama'ah, the correct opinion is that it is jaiz to have another jama'ah when you miss the jama'ah. But in some cases it does become makruh, and of those cases is when there is knowledge or an ilm going on, because the second jama'ah
Just study terms.
is not
That's
more
why I'm like,
important than the
what?
scheduled, if you like, or the regular dars. In fact, some madhahib, as you know, say there should not be a second jama'ah. You know this, right? Some madhahib are strict in this regard, but the correct opinion is that it is permissible. But when there is a clash, obviously, then in this case, the one jama'ah should suffice, and this should go on. And the reason I say this is because we have to delay. If there's a jama'ah going on, then we have to delay, and then it causes us a delay right now. So inshallah, next week, those who come late, if they can just, but inshallah, next week you should come on time.
Latecomer can pray individually.
Individually. You can pray individually, inshallah. Yeah, just go individually anywhere. Just pray, inshallah. Any quick questions about the material for today before you move on to, yes? Abu Bakr has half brothers and sisters, not full. And none of them are playing a major role. But full brothers and sisters, no. No full brothers and sisters.
The word Sahaba is reserved to those lucky people who actually saw and spent time with that Prophet Muhammad. Is that
The word Sahaba
Okay, at least we get
is
an
used for
explanation.
those who accompanied the Prophet
Accompanied.
When you say saw, what if he was blind? Such as Ibn Maktoum. So the word Sahabi, there is a big controversy in early Islam about what is the definition of a Sahabi. And there are over 10 opinions. And what later Sunni scholars have basically all agreed to, there was a controversy in very early Islam. Why? Because this is an academic point, and again, sometimes knowledge is not that beneficial, sometimes it's actually harmful, but inshallah this is not harmful. Think about the Bedouin who urinated in the masjid. He's also a Sahabi technically. So when we as innocent Muslims say the word Sahabi, we honestly think of Abu Bakr and Umar. That's it. But we forget the fact that over 100,000 people saw the Prophet ﷺ in his life.
True, true.
And the bulk of them were not like Abu Bakr and Umar. The people who called out from behind the house of the Prophet ﷺ, that come out and meet us, and Allah reveals Surah Al-Hujurat. They are Muslims and they are Sahabi. They're not kafir, they're not munafiq, they're Sahabi, but they're crude in their mannerisms. So many of the early scholars were hesitant to call that group Sahaba. And they said, for example, one opinion is a Sahabi is only those who participated in the Ghazwa with the Prophet ﷺ. That's an early definition. Or a Sahabi is one who accompanied the Prophet ﷺ for a period of time. Because these delegates, they came and they met him for 10 minutes and that's it. The Bedouin urinates, he meets him, he goes away. That's not accompanying, that's visiting. So some early scholars said you have to live with the Prophet ﷺ, a few weeks, a few months, like that. But as time goes on, human nature is to basically, make things easier and bigger and grandiose. And so later scholars said, khalas, anybody who ever saw the Prophet ﷺ gets to the status of a Sahabi. And this is what is basically the unanimous consensus of later Sunni scholars. So anybody who accompanied the Prophet ﷺ as a Muslim, that's another condition. Because if you accompanied him as a non-Muslim, well then that doesn't make you a Sahabi. And so there are some unique and bizarre situations where some people do not remember accompanying the Prophet. There's Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr, they're called Mukhadramun. Some people, very few, saw the Prophet as a non-Muslim and later embraced Islam. And these are not Sahaba.
Oh,
One
wow.
of the examples is the Tanukhi. Remember the Tanukhi guy? The guy who came as the emissary from? Not Yemen. From Hercules, from the Caesar. Right? The Tanukhi guy, when the Prophet said, accept Islam, he said, I am
Fruit
right now an
flies.
ambassador. I cannot do anything. I'm not going to accept Islam. Later on, he embraced Islam. So he is one of those very rare people who saw the Prophet but is not considered a Sahabi. And there are also people who saw the Prophet. There's one person we know for sure. He came to Medina to basically become a Sahabi, and the Prophet passed away, and he arrived Monday. So he prayed the janazah. So he saw the body of the Prophet ﷺ, but we don't consider him Sahabi. So there are some interesting areas there, but that answers your question, inshallah. You had a question?
So you mentioned that about the character of the Prophet ﷺ, Khadija had said something, and about the character of Abu Bakr, I forget the name of the person, but
Ibn al-Daghina, yes.
so they had a very similar
Mm-hmm.
Yet, the the Prophet ﷺ said that if there was a prophet after me, it would be Umar. So that just got me thinking, what was the difference in character that he would say something like that about Umar, even though Abu Bakr's character was most similar to his own?
I don't understand the question. What was the difference in character between Abu Bakr and Umar?
Then why would the Prophet say Umar be the prophet with the real
I mean, so I guess
So each one has certain blessings that the other does not have. And each one has certain characteristics that the other does not have. In one hadith, which is a little bit disputed, the Prophet ﷺ said to Abu Bakr that you are the closest of my ummah to Ibrahim. And he said to Umar, you are the closest of my ummah to Musa. Now if you know Ibrahim and Musa, and the difference is between them, you kind of get Abu Bakr and Umar, right? And who is the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ more similar to, Ibrahim or Musa? Ibrahim. Okay, so it's not as if when you have one blessing here, there's no blessing there. Each one has his own blessings. And Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was the closest in his akhlaq to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Okay, inshallah with that we will stop for today and continue next Wednesday, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay. We now have 3 Sahabas in our book. We have, I want to say it so that I don't forget because I'm very forgetful, you know. We have Abu Bakr, of course. We have Bilal. We have Salman. Oh, I remembered. And I don't know who else we will meet, or we not necessarily meet, but we will hear about. But anyways, beautiful people, I will leave you here, and I'm using the mic because it's a rainy season now. But if you like the video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.